Can I ask you something? When did breaking promises to yourself become normal? Really think about that. Because if someone else constantly told you, I'll be there, and they didn't show up, I'll do it tomorrow, and they never did it, I promise this time will be different, but nothing changed, eventually you would stop believing them, right? You wouldn't call that person reliable. You wouldn't trust their word. But here's the question: what happens when that person is you? Welcome back to Empowered Me. This month, we're having honest conversations about the habits behind the woman we are becoming. Last month, we spoke about desire. We gave ourselves permission to admit, I want more growth, more purpose, more alignment, more of what God has called me to become. But desire asks, what do you want? Discipline asks, are you willing to become the person who can carry it? Because wanting something and becoming someone are two different journeys. Somewhere along the way, discipline got a bad reputation. We started thinking discipline means punishment, pressure, perfection, doing more, never resting. But that isn't discipline, that's performance. And some of us aren't disciplined. We're exhausted performers. There's a difference. As an emotional intelligence and behavior change coach, one thing I teach is behavior is communication. Your habits are telling a story. Your choices are telling a story. Your consistency is telling a story. So the question is, what story have you been telling yourself? Because every time you say, I'm going to start taking care of myself, but you don't, your brain remembers every time you say, I'm going to finally work on that dream, but you keep postponing it, your brain remembers. Every time you say, this year will be different, but your actions stay the same, your brain remembers. And slowly, without realizing it, you stop trusting your own voice. And listen, I had to learn this myself because I was really good at showing up for everybody else. I became a mother at 19 years old. And when you become responsible for someone else that young, you learn how to sacrifice. You learn how to push through. You learn how to make things happen. And I love my children. But if I can be honest, there was a season where I confused neglecting myself with loving others. I thought if everyone else is okay, then I'm okay. But I wasn't. I was keeping commitments to everyone else while breaking commitments to myself. And eventually, I had to confront that because God didn't call me to serve everyone else while abandoning the person He created me to become. Here's what we have to understand: self respect isn't something you just feel, self respect is something you practice, you build it. How? One kept promise at a time. Not big promises, small ones. Because your brain doesn't build trust from what you announce. Your brain builds trust from what you repeat. That's why discipline is the highest form of self leadership. Before you lead a team, before you lead a family, before you lead a business, before you lead a ministry, you have to learn to lead yourself. Because the hardest person you will ever hold accountable is the person in the mirror. Now, here's where many of us get stuck. We think, I need more confidence. No. Sometimes you need more evidence. Confidence is not built by wishing. Confidence is built when your actions start proving I can count on me. And here's the mistake: we make promises from emotion, then we try to keep them with discipline. That's why it falls apart. Sunday night, you create a whole new life plan. Monday, you are excited. Tuesday, you are trying. Wednesday, life starts lifing. And then the old pattern returns. Not because you failed, because you didn't build a system that matched your season. So here's the question I want you to sit with. Where are you treating promises to other people as more important than promises to yourself? Because some of us would never disappoint everyone else, but we disappoint ourselves daily. This week, choose one promise. Keep it quietly, consistently. No announcement, no performance, just alignment. And if this conversation is hitting something deeper, if you're thinking, Natasha, I do this, I start, I stop, I know what I should do, but I keep repeating the same cycle, I want you to understand something. The behavior is the symptom. There is usually a pattern underneath. That's why I created the Why I Am Stuck Masterclass. Because the question isn't why can't I do better? The question is, what pattern keeps pulling me back? In this masterclass, we are going deeper than motivation. We are identifying what is keeping you stuck and creating a practical path forward, because you cannot change a pattern you haven't recognized. So this week, remember, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not perfection. Discipline is self-respect. Every promise you keep says, my future matters. My purpose matters. My assignment matters. And yes, I matter. Keep the promise. Build the trust, because consistency is self-trust. And it's time to own the woman you are becoming.